One of the battleground states we're focusing on tonight is, of course, Georgia. Results are coming in for this Senate race between Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock, as well as the gubernatorial race between Stacey Abrams and Kemp. Then, of course, there are the House races. And we have Representative Buddy Carter joining us tonight to discuss how his race for re-election in Georgia's 1st congressional district is going. You can see the results right there as they are coming in right now. Congressman Carter, looks like you have quite the lead. What are your thoughts tonight? How are you doing?
Well, I'm feeling real good, as you can imagine, and the numbers are looking real good, so we're excited. And, you know, I tell people all the time, this race is not about me. It's not about my opponent. It's about the people of the 1st congressional district, and they are suffering right now. They're suffering the consequences of the Biden administration's policies, and that's what everyone talks about. When we're in the district, people are talking about inflation, the price of gas, the price of groceries. They're talking about rent. They're talking about crime. They're talking about the southern border and the drugs coming across that border. And they're talking about education. That's the things that are mattering to people right now, and that's what they're voting on.
How are you hoping things in Washington will be different if Republicans take back the House? What are your plans?
Well, first of all, our commitment to America is based on 4 pillars. The first pillar is that we're going to build an American economy that is strong. We're going to make sure that we stop this spending. We're going to make sure that we up our independence and our energy independence. We're going to stop this war on American energy that this administration has waged since day one. And we're going to make sure that we do something about the rules and regulations. We're going to build a nation that's safe, backing our blue, making sure that we are not soft on crime and ending this rhetoric about defunding the police. We're going to back the blue. We're going to make sure that we have a future based on freedom where parents and grandparents can be involved in their children's education. We're going to make sure that we have a government that's accountable with oversight. That's going to be extremely important.
Are you going to be working with President Biden on these issues, considering he will have that veto pen?
Well, I hope we do. And you know, look, I think we're going to take over the House for sure. And I do think we're going to have the majority in the Senate. And I think if you look at recent history, you'll see that a divided government has worked well. I would point toward Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, who got some things done in a divided government. Same thing with Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton. They were able to achieve some things. So if this administration is willing to work with us, then I think we can get some things done that will move this country forward and benefit the American people.
There have been some election security concerns in your state leading up to tonight, concerns about the touchscreen voting systems, et cetera. Do you have any concerns about election security, especially because if history repeats itself, we could be looking at some runoff action in your state?
Well, we certainly could be looking at some runoff, and I think that our Senate race may be a runoff. But the point is that I have to applaud the Georgia State Legislature and the Election Integrity Act. I think they gave people confidence that only legal votes are going to be counted and no illegal votes are going to be counted. So the changes that they made were good changes. It gives people confidence, and I think that we can be confident in this voting system that we have in place right now.
I know you are at your, for you, hopefully, victory party tonight, and you're probably busy really focusing on your race. But as you look at what's happening in your state, do you have any thoughts right now on how Walker and how Kemp are performing?
Well, I certainly think that Governor Kemp is going to do well. You know, it's still early, and you have to be careful with these early results because you never know which counties that the results are coming from, and that makes a big difference. You know, we have a lot of rural areas in Georgia. Granted, we have the metro area in Atlanta. As we like to say down here, there are 2 Georgias. There's Atlanta and everywhere else. So you don't know where those numbers are coming from, the early results. But I think at the end of the night, you're going to find that Republicans do exceptionally well in the state of Georgia.
The Georgia electorate has been changing over the past few years. I'm curious if you think that people are going to be voting straight tickets this time around, or do you think voters are more inclined to vote Republican on one and split on the other? Do you think that a good night for Kemp means a good night for Herschel Walker?
I do. I think that that Governor Kemp, again, is going to do exceptionally well. Look, 70% of all Americans say that this country is headed in the wrong direction. They want to change. We just turned our clocks back this past weekend. We need to turn our government back. We need to turn it back over to Republican leadership. And I think that's going to lead us into and to a stronger economy where we have energy independence, which is important to our economy, but also important to our national security. We're going to back the blue. We're going to make sure that we are supporting our police. We're going to make sure that we're enforcing the laws and administering the laws. That's extremely important as well. We're going to have a Parents' Bill of Rights for our education, for our children. We're going to make sure that we have a government that's accountable, and that means oversight of the federal government, which is extremely important.
Georgia Republican Representative Buddy Carter, thank you so much for talking to us tonight on what is a busy night for you. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.